Why was the Temple of Artemis destroyed by a madman? The ancient Greeks, renowned for their wisdom, constructed numerous famous buildings on their land. Some of these structures were listed among the 7 wonders of the world, celebrated for millennia. Among these wonders was the Temple of Artemis, which was larger than the Parthenon on the Acropolis of Athens and one of the largest temples in ancient Greece. Thus, it was considered a sacred sanctuary by the people of that time. The Temple of Artemis was of unprecedented scale, built with many enormous stones over 8 meters in length. Given the rudimentary technology of the time, constructing such a magnificent building was exceedingly challenging. The temple's architect, Chersiphron, was under such immense pressure at the project's outset that he nearly contemplated suicide. Fortunately, he had a sudden inspiration to use sandbags to create ramps, enabling the smooth placement of the massive stones. Through Chersiphron's relentless efforts, the temple finally took shape. After 120 years, it stood proudly on a high mountain at the northeastern corner of Ephesus, radiating its sacred glory between heaven and earth. However, in 356 BCE, a madman infiltrated the temple and set it ablaze, reducing this world-renowned structure to ashes. The arsonist was not actually mentally ill, his psyche was merely twisted by an intense desire for fame. On a July night, he poured oil around the temple and, with a sinister grin, hurled a lit torch at it. The fire quickly enveloped the marble temple, and the blaze grew stronger, illuminating half the city's sky with a reddish glow. The roaring flames soon caught people's attention, and they cried out in alarm, organizing efforts to extinguish the fire. Feeling a pang of guilt, the arsonist fled the scene. Coincidentally, that very night, a great life was born, Alexander the Great, who would go on to conquer vast regions of Eurasia. Later, people lamented, Artemis must have been preoccupied with the birth of Alexander and couldn't save her own temple. The arsonist soon regretted his actions. He had set the temple on fire merely to gain fame, but now, evading capture, who would know his name? Fortunately for him, the goddess granted his wish. He was soon apprehended. Facing the furious crowd, he astonishingly smiled. He calmly declared that his name was Herostratus, and that his desire for eternal fame drove him to burn down the temple. He even gleefully stated that even infamy was better than obscurity. It seemed the man was truly mad. He was quickly executed, but his goal was achieved. His name was forever recorded in history, eternally linked with one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Temple of Artemis. Given the temple's significant place in people's hearts, the local government rebuilt an even grander temple on its ruins. Sadly, the new temple also met a tragic fate. In 262 CE, the Goths invaded Ephesus, looting the temple's treasures and severely damaging the structure. A century later, Christianity spread into Asia Minor, stripping the temple of any reason for restoration. In the early 5th century, Eastern Roman Emperor Theodosius II deemed the temple a site of heresy and ordered its demolition. Thus, this magnificent structure vanished, leaving behind only a single column.